Well, Susan Ryan, like you are an award-winning honeymoon specialist. Thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. Susan, how on earth do you become a honeymoon specialist? In the name of God, tell me.
Well, I've always loved travel. Like the only thing I ever wanted to do when I was younger was travel. That was literally it. But life gets in the way.
Yeah.
You have to get a job for money. So I started out, I was working in insurance and I took a year out and travelled the world with my friends, which was the only thing I ever wanted to do, and I got to do it, and it was amazing.
And what age were you when you did that?
I was 24 when I did that.
And you travelled the world?
Yes, yeah. We did a round the world trip. It was absolutely amazing. And when I came back then, I was like, that's it. I have to work and travel. Like I have to. Yeah. I did travel in tourism.
Yes.
But then ended up getting a job in insurance, which was great. It was fine. It was grand, but it wasn't what I wanted to do.
It paid the bills.
It paid the bills. But yeah, I came back and I was certain that's it. Yeah. But we were in the middle of a recession in Ireland at that stage, and I had a mortgage as well at that time. Yeah, and it was all going on. But I met my now husband, and he was just saying, "Well, look, sure, we're not married, we've no kids. What's stopping us? Let's just go for it. Like, just give it a go. You've always wanted to do it. If it doesn't work out, you can get another job."
Absolutely,
and that's kind of the push I needed. I went, "Do you know what?
He's
Let's
a
give
legend,
it a go.
Isn't he? He's a legend. You need a backbone. My husband's my backbone as well. But I always say in life, you know, if there's something that you really want to do, go and do it.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why it won't work unless you don't work hard
at
making it work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I worked in travel agencies then inside in Limerick. Yeah. And we were getting married, myself and my husband, we were getting married in Rome.
What's his name?
Dermot.
Hiya, Dermot.
So we got married in Rome, but just before our wedding, the company that I was working for, they closed one of their offices, so they had to let go of a few staff. And as I was last in, I was first out.
Right.
So it was 3 months before the wedding, no job. And I was like, I love working in travel. What am I going to do? Yeah. But my manager there told me about travel counsellors.
Right.
So travel counsellors, it's a company in Ireland. We're all self-employed under, we'll say, the travel counsellors umbrella.
Okay.
So we're all licensed and bonded here in Ireland for the Commission of Aviation Regulation. So your money is safe. Get that in. I had a meeting with them. Their head office is in Cork, and I just decided, let's just go for it. Yeah. Start up my own business because I'm my own boss then. I can't let myself go.
Yeah. I could never work for someone. There's no way.
But that's it. It's ruined me for it. So I started off. That was great. Next thing, I'm pregnant, our first child. I was like, okay, I have to make this work now. And we hadn't gone on a honeymoon because we were getting married. Yeah. Money was an object, starting the business and everything. So the following year I was like, okay, we're going to go on honeymoon. Found out I was pregnant. The first question I asked the doctor was, can I travel? That's all I wanted to know. She's like, have you any questions? Can I travel? So once that was established, that was fine. We went to New York then on our honeymoon because we didn't want to go too far. First pregnancy and all that.
Yeah. So that is far enough now.
But it's grand. I'd been to New York before as well. My husband hadn't. So I was like, do you know what? I'd go back to New York every year if I could.
Do you love it?
Absolutely love it.
I'm actually going in November. So after this, I'll have to ask you, where do I go? And all that.
It's fabulous. Yeah. Absolutely fabulous.
And did you have the best time?
Great time. Yeah. The only thing is, like, I wasn't able to do as much walking. So we'd walk one way and then get the subway back, or vice versa.
I do that anyway and I'm not pregnant.
But came back and things were going. See, the way I got into I was doing all travel. Yes. But the way I kind of got into honeymoons then, because my friends then were getting married. Yeah. So then it was all honeymoons that I was doing. Just naturally kind of fell into it. And then I had a really good year, 2019. Next thing.
Oh, COVID.
And the start of 2020, I won the Irish Wedding Awards for honeymoons.
Tell me about that.
So that was at the start of 2020, and I was like, here, out of in the whole country, it was just amazing. So I was like, this is it. Here we go. And next thing, 3 months later, my business was gone, overnight.
So what did you do, during that time?
Well, I was pregnant out my second child.
Okay, okay.
We're busy enough that way. But I had to look after all my customers because I had people that were abroad. I had to get them home.
Right.
And I remember my sister was in Australia at the time, and we were talking to her on, was it just Paddy's weekend?
Yes.
And within 3 days, I had her on a flight home.
Oh my God.
It was just that quick in the
Wasn't
end.
It just kind of happened overnight, nearly.
Different countries were shutting down in the way. And I always remember her transiting through Dubai, and they had just stopped the visas for people coming through. And because she was on a connecting flight, she wasn't getting out, so it was okay. But I was up all night checking the flight, going, okay, she's on that one. And then she landed and she had to quarantine then with her friends before coming home because I was pregnant and with her parents and stuff. And it was just
bizarre.
The
whole thing was nuts, wasn't it? Like,
I just can't believe looking back on it. It was just crazy.
Not being able to travel beyond 2 kilometres.
All the customers that I had about to go then, do you know, honeymooners and like they'd had their wedding, the honeymoon was paid for, like they were meant to go in 2 weeks' time. And it wasn't a case of you have your travel insurance, you'll be grand. It was like the whole world is shutting down. Nobody knows what's going on. But I suppose the difference for my customers was they all had my mobile number.
Yes.
They knew that I was looking after them and they knew that like, this is totally unprecedented.
Yes,
like I'm not going to leave you high and dry. We're going to work through it. And they all got sorted out. None of them were left without anything. You know, they all got refunded and sorted.
Fantastic. So I just think it's really important then to have somebody like you.
Someone in your corner, do you know, and to liaise with the airlines. And because if you're ringing up an airline, you're on hold and you're pressing 1, 2 and 3, you don't know who to talk to or what's going on, you know.
So when a couple, you know, sit down, they're after planning their wedding, it all is in line apart from the honeymoon.
Yes.
And they come to you. Where do you start with them? Like,
we'd start with a call, first of all, just to find out, like, there's a few things you need to find out before I can put a honeymoon together for them.
Yes.
So, like, I'd never just somebody DMs me or emails me and I'd put something together. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's more personal.
Of course.
So we'd arrange a phone call or I'd chat to them over Zoom, whichever. And just find out what they like.
Yeah.
So my first question really would be like the dates. So if you're getting married in December, like, are you free to go? Are you going straight after the honeymoon?
Yes.
Or some couples, you know, with teachers, they might wait till the summer holidays or
of course,
with work and different things like that, and with destinations weather-wise and that.
Yeah.
So we find out their dates when they can travel. And then I find what's the earliest they can go and the latest, because I need a bit of flexibility with the airlines, because I'd base it kind of on the best value flights and then build it from there.
Okay.
So sometimes they'd have like an idea of where they want to go.
Right.
But I think having an idea of where you want to go and then the type of couple that you are, that mightn't match. So I have to, like, I'm not just going to send you where you want to.
I'd say it's difficult enough to try and kind of find it, because I'd say two people like two different things as well.
Yes, yeah.
So I'd imagine that it's up to you to try and create this honeymoon that they're both going to love.
Exactly, yeah. And kind of, you know, find a balance. Like, I had a couple and like she wanted to climb Mount Kilimanjaro and he was like, I'm having none of that.
I want to lie on the beach.
Exactly. But they were being into their outdoors and hiking. So we put something together for them in Tanzania, like with hikes and different things like that.
Wow.
So they got to experience Africa. They got safari and then they got beach, but they got their hikes in as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it's to find out what they like. And I suppose the Maldives would be a very popular destination.
This is what I was trying to ask. My husband said to me this morning, find out, is there anywhere trending for honeymoons? Is it the Maldives?
The Maldives is so popular. Like, I think it even more popular after COVID, because people are kind of like, look, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
You know, we don't know what's going to happen. Like,
Absolutely.
no one knew that was going to happen. So let's just go for it. So but anytime I have a chat with a couple at the Maldives, I'm always like, I have this disclaimer. Now, I'm not trying to turn you off it.
Tell me.
But it's just like, there's literally nothing else to do, only relax. You know, you can't like
Is there no television or anything?
Oh, no, there is. There is. There's bars and restaurants. You can go drinking and dancing and spas and water sports and things. But it's not like island hopping like in Greece, or you can't go down to the local strip, or there's no shopping centres, or
You're there.
You're on your resort and your island, and that's it. So some couples will be like, that's exactly what we want, because we've really busy jobs, or, you know, the weddings, we're going straight after the wedding, we just want to relax. And then other couples will be like, oh God, no, we kill each other after 3 days. No, we want something like the Maldives, but we want to be able to. So then,
so with the Maldives, like literally it is just relaxation, and you sort of see these, you know, I see them on everyone's Instagram when they go off. It just looks amazing. I'd love to be able to swim. That's my thing. I can't swim. I want to jump into that water.
Yeah, I can't swim
But
either.
you know those kind of little, what do you call them? They come out like little huts. They're little houses.
Oh, the water villas.
I never see a telly. Like, is there a television?
Oh, there is. Yeah,
there is. That's fine. That's fine.
There
okay.
is.
Yeah, that'd be very important in my relationship.
No, there's a telly, definitely.
Yeah.
And there's loads of different bars and restaurants.
Yes.
So it's about getting the right resort then as well.
Okay.
Because some resorts would be really quiet and like they shut down at 9 o'clock. Do you know, for like if there'd be older people there, and then there'd be other resorts and it's more family friendly. And so it's about getting the right resort. And a lot of honeymooners, they want the choice of, you know, different bars and restaurants. So you'd have like a nightclub, or you'd have a piano bar, or you'd have live music. There's loads of different entertainments, but it's about getting the right one.
The thing is, like, if they wanted to go to the Maldives and they were going off and they were doing it themselves and they booked somewhere that closed at 9 o'clock, like, that's terrible.
And it's a lot of money. So you want to make sure you're getting it right.
Yeah.
And as well with the Maldives, like a lot of the islands that you fly to, you have to get a seaplane transfer.
Yes.
But you need to make sure that your international flight arrives within certain hours.
Oh, God.
Because otherwise you're kind of stranded for what. So there's a lot to it.
Yes.
You know, to make it run smoothly and look like it's running smoothly, you know. But there's a lot to take into consideration.
So the Maldives is trending. Yes. Anywhere else? You were talking to me before we came on about Joanne.
Joanne McNally has started a new trend.
Go on, Joanne.
Yeah, Tanzania, Zanzibar. She went to Kenya and Zanzibar. So Zanzibar is top of the list now,
Because of Joanne.
Yeah, they've seen Joanne. Yeah, because it's somewhere, I suppose, that not a lot of people have gone before. Now, I've sold it before for honeymooners as an alternative to South Africa.
Right.
I suppose there's lots to do in South Africa, whereas maybe Tanzania and Zanzibar is a bit more relaxed.
Right.
But that's trending at the minute.
Is unbelievable. And would you get couples then who don't want the sunshine? They, you know, they want something else. Like, what type of holiday would that be?
Oh, last year I had a couple. Oh my God, it was beautiful. I'm trying to pronounce this now right. Kaxlauten Resort in Norway. You're staying in one of these igloos.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, Northern Lights, beautiful skiing.
Freezing.
Yeah, absolutely freezing. Yeah.
Oh, no, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Iceland as well would be lovely as well for honeymooners that you don't want the sun.
And how long did they go for?
They went for a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had a great time.
They had a great time, yeah. Or you go to America, like New York is fabulous. Any of the cities in the States.
Yeah.
Cruises as well, all over the world.
And do you have one place that's more popular than others? You know, for couples? Like, do you think they're all going to a particular place, or you know, or is it quite random where they go?
Well, yeah, it's a bit of both. Like, I suppose the most popular long haul destinations that I'm seeing now, like for the last year and even like in the last month, South Africa, Maldives, and Bali.
Okay,
they're quite popular. And then in Europe would be Italy, Greece, and Croatia. They'd be the three top honeymoon spots.
So then, Susan, you organise the whole thing from the initial phone call right until they come back.
Yeah.
All their flights, their accommodation, and
transfers. If they want to do tours, like some couples want to, you know, have nearly every day planned out. Some couples don't want that at all, but would like suggestions. So I can let them know what there is to do.
Okay.
And then a lot of the hotels will help them over there. And I deal with DMCs, destination management companies in different countries.
Okay.
So like in Italy, I'd have a company based in Italy. So we're dealing with the locals there.
Okay.
So they'd have local rates and they'd have deal with local, just keeping the business local as well.
Brilliant.
And the same in Africa and Asia and different places like that. So like I'm not tied to one supplier. I can price around with different ones and get the best. It's all about getting the best value for my clients then as well.
Absolutely.
And when they come back then I'd have a follow-up call with them to see how they got on and send them a little present.
You send them a little present?
Yes.
You're lovely.
Oh, but I just think, do you know, for the weddings, everything is so personalised and you can get so many things for weddings. So what I'd send them is a little, it's an A4 print by an Irish woman as well. She does them. The Wishing Line is her company. Michelle is her name.
Right.
And it's a little map of the world. So it would say like, we'll say for example, Susan and Dermot, honeymoon and, you know, Maldives 2023 and a little heart on the Maldives. So you can put that on the wall and then have your honeymoon photos around it.
That is such a good idea.
Lovely.
You're lovely.
Oh, thank you.
And then for the people who like the sun, I mean, obviously people get married in Ireland all year round. Obviously the summer and Christmas for me, because I do a lot of weddings, would probably be the two most popular times. But then again, you could get married in January, February. Yeah. Do you tell them where is going to be sunny? within the month that they want to go?
Yeah, so that's kind of, I suppose, one of the most common questions I get asked.
So where would you go in February?
Where to go when? Yeah. So it's all about, like, when I have a chat with them to see, like, if they are getting married in January, if they're going straight after, and then do they want sun?
Yes.
So yeah, like the Caribbean, the Maldives.
Yeah.
Do you know, a place like Cancun is very popular as well.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So yeah, we find out when they can go, and then if they're looking for a son, I'd give them some ideas.
Yeah.
Because I find sometimes a lot of couples, they'd be kind of going, okay, it's the one holiday that we can go anywhere in the world. It's like you've given a free rein to pick anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And if there isn't somewhere you've always wanted to go for your honeymoon,
it's
like a minefield.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the time I'd say to couples, like, we'd have a chat over and back, and I'd send them out an option.
Right.
And I'd say to them, you have a look through that. And it's not until you sit down and read through it. Like, I had a couple there, they wanted to do like a West Coast USA road trip.
Oh, wow.
And then like do Las Vegas then as well, and finish up like in Cancun.
Yeah.
So I sent it through to them, and they had a look through it, and they said, look, we took your advice, we read through it. And yeah, I don't know what we were thinking. Sure, we always do all-inclusive holidays anyway, so why wouldn't we do that for a honeymoon? Just the thoughts of, because I was saying, you're driving here, then you're checking into the hotel, you're unpacking, and then you're only there for a night, you have to pack up and move again. It's a lot of travelling, and it's not until you see it in front of you sometimes that you go, oh, hang on a second, what are we doing?
And I think definitely after getting married, if you're going straight away on honeymoon, I think going to do something that's going to, have you exhausted.
Yes.
It's not such a good idea, because even the run up to the wedding can be quite stressful for couples too.
Yes, yeah. And trying to think of everything and, have all the suppliers sorted and the timelines and the whole lot. There's so much going on. Yeah.
So if you were to go off on a road trip like that, then that's exhausting.
Yeah.
My hubby's always talking about doing that, so we should do that one of these years. But the thing is, for me, when I go away on holidays during the summer, it's just straight out after I don't know how many weddings in a row. I want to go and line the beach somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
So go back to Cancun. You talked about Cancun there as well. So for places like Cancun, and there are places in Jamaica as well. I went to Jamaica years and years ago, and it was amazing. Some of these places can be a little bit dangerous. So do you guide them around that and tell them where to go and where not to go?
Yeah, well, I think as far as danger goes,
So
everywhere is dangerous, But like with Cancun, you're not going to be, it's more resort based.
Yes.
So you're not going to be wandering around on your own at nighttime.
Yes.
So like everything is in the resort that you could possibly need anyway.
Right.
And you have your concierges there, and they look after you, like for booking day trips and things like that. And I think if you stay in the hotel zone, like there's clubs and things around there if you wanted to go out.
Yes.
That you're not wandering off out into the middle of nowhere, you know.
Okay. Because when we went to Cancun, we went to New York for a few nights, and then we went to Cancun. And I just remember even we were staying in a resort, which was just a little bit outside Cancun, and everything was very security based. We were checking in at the gate of the hotel, and they took our names, and then we got up, and then somebody else knew we were arriving. And then we left to go on some trips.
A day trip, yeah.
And, they took all the information as to kind of where we were going. I'm like, are we going to be murdered, Martin? What the hell?
Yeah, there are some places that would be like more of a culture shock. Like, like if you were going somewhere like Kenya or, and even in South Africa, I remember when I went to South Africa, and just to see all the barbed wire and the fences and all the guns, and you'd be there going, oh my God.
I want to go home.
Yeah, like, there is other sides to places as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to bear that in mind. But like, we take a lot of our advice from the DFA. So they would update, on countries to advise against travelling there, with caution if there was, uprisings or protests or different things like that. So, like, I wouldn't be sending someone somewhere that was going to be dangerous like that, or that there was, because I had a couple in Sri Lanka last year, just before they were finished. They did Sri Lanka first, and then they were going to the Maldives. Because Sri Lanka is a good alternative for safari and things like that if you didn't want to go to South Africa. But they were bringing in curfews, and it was just the last 3 nights of their honeymoon, there was a curfew, and they're stopped now travelling to Sri Lanka for the moment,
right?
Just because of all the protests and unrest there.
Sure.
But like things can happen when people are away.
Yes. Yes.
But I suppose the thing is, I'm alerted then straight away. The benefit of being with travel counsellors is we're part of a global network of agents. So we have a 24-hour duty office.
Right.
So when you're away, you have my mobile number, but obviously time difference. And I do sleep sometimes.
Of course.
When I can.
Don't wake me up.
But if there was an emergency, you have our duty office phone number and there's an actual physical person at the end of that line to talk to you and to help you out. So you're never on your own.
Okay.
But they keep track of things like if there was an earthquake in Bali or something, like we'd get notified of it. So then if I have a customer there, I'll ring them. Like when we were on honeymoon, actually. This is a perfect example. We were in New York, so I had another travel agent looking after my business while I was away. So we were in New York and we had just come down from the Empire State Building. We were just in a cafe having something. And next thing, my husband's phone rings and it was the travel agent checking to see were we okay because some fella had driven through a crowd of people in Times Square.
Stop.
Just a few blocks away from us. And we didn't even know what was going on. Because, New York now and the sirens the whole time. And
yeah.
But I was there going, God, isn't that great? I got to see firsthand how it worked.
Are you all right?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're grand. Lovely. Just checking in. So yeah, I'd be there checking in on you. And like people are in touch with me when they're away. And like I love getting the messages of, oh my God, this is amazing. And sending me the photos. Like I love to see it.
It's so rewarding.
Oh my God. They're like my children going off.
I know.
I'm like, are you okay? Did you get there all right?
It's lovely to be able to get that job satisfaction, isn't it? So you're doing something that you love. And then when they're telling you this is amazing, you just think, oh God.
And it's so personal because we've had a few chats and you feel like you know them then after the few months and you're kind of back and forth and different things. So it's lovely to hear.
So they go to you, they decide where we're going, what we're doing, where we're flying to, and the whole thing is organised. So how do they pay you? And do they pay you in instalments? Talk to me about that.
Yes, we have a little app. It's called My TC app.
Okay.
So when we have our chat, I send a link to your email address. So you can download an app on your phone or else you can log in on your laptop.
Yeah.
And all your booking is there, your travel documents are there, and you make repayments as much or as little as you want.
Right.
So when you book, you're booking with a deposit. Now this is if you're booking well in advance because it would all have to be paid about 12 weeks before you go. So anything within the 12 weeks has to be paid in full when you book it. But outside of that, you pay your deposit. So we'll say the balance is due on the 1st of August. You don't have to pay anything until the balance is due on the 1st of August. You can pay it off in one lump sum then.
Yes.
Or like you can log in, pay a £5 tonight, pay €500 on payday. There's no set repayment.
I'd say people do that though, just to get rid of it, pay it as they go.
All hours of the day and night. And then, it all comes off straight away. Or like as well for if you've a birthday coming up, you could get family and friends to buy vouchers.
Brilliant.
And you could put that towards it as well.
So talk to me, because we talked about this gift. I'm after forgetting the
honeymoon gift registry.
Talk to me, because that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
I prefer to do that than put money in a card.
Yes, and it's safer, it's more secure, and it's going towards the honeymoon rather than money in the card pays off bills or something. Like I have a little honeymoon gift registry pack, so it's a little box that I send out to you, and there's little cards, thank you cards that you put into your invitations with a web address.
Right.
And you write in then your honeymoon booking reference number. So then you log on and you go, oh, look, I'm going to log in here now and put €200 towards Susan's honeymoon. So you'll see a picture of me and my partner and, thank you for your gift and we're looking forward to seeing you on the dance floor, or whatever you want to say.
Brilliant.
And then you put in the amount, pay with your card, and you can leave your message. But you can't see how much the honeymoon costs. You can't see who else is putting in money. It's very secure and private.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's such a lovely, lovely gift. And is it a popular do a lot of people use it? It's
becoming more popular now.
Yes.
It wasn't at the start.
Okay.
It was very like, oh God, I can't be asking people for money.
Well, they want to give you money anyway. So
it's easier than having to ask people for money or, getting vouchers and then losing the vouchers. And it's just done secure straight away. Yeah. And it's taken off the bill.
Because an awful lot of people do give money as wedding gifts in cards. And I see it every
and on the
wedding.
Day as well.
And it's like, oh God.
The nerves.
Where are you putting those cards? Oh, I'll hold those. I'll put them in the front of my camera bag. I'm always terrified someone's going to drop them and then you have like a box and they're all being put into the box.
Oh yeah, the post box thing.
I just think this is such a lovely idea.
Yeah. And it's very useful,
Yeah. So talk to me, have you any other tips for couples when they're booking their honeymoon, apart from ringing you?
Yeah, ring me and I'll take care of everything for you. I suppose it is a holiday of a lifetime really for the two of you, and it doesn't mean you have to spend big money either. I'd say kind of decide on an average budget that you're kind of comfortable with.
Right.
Because I'd always talk budget to my clients, and it's some people are like, oh yeah, this is how much, and then other people are like, oh God, I don't know, sure, how much is it going to cost?
Yes.
But in that, there's a range of different hotel types,
okay,
and a range of different rooms. So what I say to my couples is, if I'm looking for a hotel for you, I'm going to quote you like the middle of the road room first, like the
Brilliant.
sea view room.
Okay.
And you can see if you like that, you might go, oh God, that's actually really good value. What's the next room up? And it could be a room with a private pool.
Right.
Or else you could say, look, we really love that hotel, but what's the next room down? It could be like a garden view room.
Right.
So there's room to move up and down. Oh, sorry. Like there. But there's room to move up and down according to your budget. But it's just a guideline for me, because there's no point in me sending you like private pools and, penthouse suites if that's not what you want.
If it's not in your budget.
No. And then as well, like if you were in somewhere, we'll say like Dubai, you don't want to have a penthouse suite. You might be in the room that much,
exactly,
because you're going to be out and about. So you have to take that into consideration as well. So yeah, if there is something fabulous and you're like, this is it, this is what we want, but we need to move the cost a bit, what can we do? So like for the Maldives, it could be, let's cut out the seaplane transfer and get a speedboat instead.
Right. Oh,
it takes a bit longer, but
I wouldn't mind a speedboat either.
Yeah, so there are ways. There's
yes,
ways to kind of move things around. So I would say to think about your budget,
yes,
because lots of people would have no problem, like, a wedding budget, okay, €30,000, honeymoon budget, okay, 2,000, but we want to go to the Maldives for 2 weeks, and you're like, okay,
that's not
going to happen.
No.
So you have to be a bit realistic. But then other couples, the honeymoon is the main thing, and they do they spend less on the wedding. So
right,
it's to kind of figure out what's important to you. Is it the destination?
Yes.
Is it the experience? Because if you want to lie on a beach, you can lie on a beach in the Maldives, but you can lie on a beach in Spain as well.
Exactly.
So it's down to your own personal preference, really, and trying to figure it out from there. Yeah.
And tell me then, what added extras make a honeymoon more romantic? Now, obviously you're going off and you're going to feel romantic because you're on honeymoon.
Yes.
But is there anything else that you can add in?
Yeah, well, I would be in touch with all the accommodations and with all the
Yes.
suppliers to let them know that it's my couple's honeymoons, you know. But a lot of resorts, really, I suppose, would be where you get the added benefits. You'd have your private dinner on the beach, or your bath and your rose petals on the bed, and
lovely.
Champagne in the room and strawberries. So there's lots of little touches that can be done as well. Yeah,
amazing.
But like I would let all my accommodations know
that this is a couple who are just married.
Yeah.
And would you recommend or not leaving it a couple of weeks after the wedding to go on honeymoon? You know, the way sometimes people get married on a Saturday and they head off then the following Tuesday or Wednesday.
There's no for or against that. It comes down to personal preference, really.
Okay.
Like if budget is a factor, we can have a look at the price of flights then.
Yes.
Versus a few weeks later.
Right.
If work, sometimes, with holidays, they might have to eat into next year's holidays, so they might have to wait. So it's all down to personal preference, but there wouldn't be, you have to wait. There's no such
and
thing as
do
that,
couples
really.
Leave it a little while and just say, well, we're getting married, we're going to go off on a little
mini moon or something,
around Ireland somewhere, and then head off.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah. And like that, I could book the mini moon for them. Generally, when it's outside Ireland, like some of them would go to maybe Santorini for a few nights or go to Paris for a weekend.
Really?
And then next year we'll go on the big thing. Because like there is a lot with the weddings, and there's a lot going on, and there's people home, and there's, you've day 2 and you want to catch up with people. So
see, I see this a lot where, you'd have relations coming from all parts of the world.
Yes, yeah.
And I often think, God, are you heading off on honeymoon now and they're still
here?
I
know. And you feel like you're missing out on the crack. Yeah.
So I suppose in that case then it would be better to put it off and go at a different time, depending on where you want to go. The weather might be better further on down the summer. How far in advance should people book? Is there?
The further in advance, the better. I suppose 11 months really would be for the long haul flights.
Right.
So the flights are released then, because you have the choice of seats. The availability is wider.
Yes.
And the closer you get, like if there's only 3 seats left, they can kind of sell them for any price. Like the price goes up.
Right.
So the further out, the better. But like with the likes of cruises, you could book a year in advance.
Okay.
Like there's cruises on sale for 2024 already, and then we can add the flights then at a later stage.
Sure.
So,
are cruises popular?
Oh God, they're so popular.
For honeymoons?
Yeah. Cruises are popular for every sort of holiday, but it's about getting the right ship.
Right.
You know, because there's so many different ships and cruise lines to choose from.
Some are that fantastic, and there are some that are amazing.
Yeah. So again, it's down to the couple and what they like to do and where they want to go. Because some people, if you've never cruised before, they either cruise for the itinerary or for the ship.
Yes.
Because we'll say somewhere like the Greek islands, the ships are smaller because they have to be smaller to go in around. So there isn't as many bells and whistles as there would be on some of the Caribbean cruises or some of the Mediterranean cruises, you know, where you have your bumper cars or your, like it's roller coasters now, roller coaster simulators.
Sorry, on the ship?
Yes, up on the top deck.
I get lost.
Absolutely everything. I was on Wonder of the Seas back in May. It was Royal Caribbean's latest one that they launched. Right. And they had, oh my God, they had synchronized swimmers, you know, Olympic
stuff.
Yeah, doing the water show. It was just amazing.
And
you'd never need to get off the ship.
Theatres and stuff on them as well.
Theatres, comedy clubs, bars, restaurants. They're fabulous. I went to the Wonderland restaurant. It's like Alice in Wonderland. So everything isn't as it seems. So you think you're getting, it looks like a brownie and ice cream, but it's steak and potatoes.
Stop.
You know, it's just, and you pour like, you know, something on and all the smoke appears. It's just fabulous.
Jeez, now I want to go on a ship now.
Oh my God.
Would you recommend them?
Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you had like, I know here I am asking you to tell me in front of everybody, if you had like your favourite ship to go on, you know, if you had no money worries, which one would you go on?
Oh my God.
Jenny.
Yeah. I'm going to say Wonder of the Seas because that's the last one I was on.
Yes.
And it's one of the newest ones.
Right.
And it was just amazing. And if money was no object, I'd stay in a suite.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Or if on MSC, if I would stay in the yacht club because you'd have your own butler. Like for the yacht club, it's like a cruise within a cruise. So like you'd have a butler to meet you and bring you up and you don't have to interact with all the other people.
Now,
you have your own.
Oh, the generation downstairs. Yeah.
You have your adults only pools and spas and the whole lot. So
like, is that mad expensive to have a butler?
It's not mad expensive. It's more expensive.
Yes, of course.
But it's not crazy. No. It's not.
Yeah.
Like the value on cruise ships is unreal compared to on land because like all your food and your drink is included.
Yes.
And tips, you don't have to be worrying about all that, and that's all paid for before you go.
And your tips are included?
Your tips are included. So
right.
no money exchanges hands on the ship.
Wow.
The only thing you'd need money for, like, and it's just added to your room, would be if you wanted to get a spa treatment or there's like duty-free shopping when the ship is at sea. So if you're doing your duty-free shopping, it's all added to the room, and then on checkout you
probably get lost on the ship, would you?
Oh, you would, yeah.
And do you have lots of different swimming pools and
God. Playgrounds, crazy golf, slides to beat the band, zip lining, the whole lot.
Now, I know this is mad, right? And I suppose as a mother, I'd be thinking, oh God, you wouldn't want to bring kids, and in the middle of the sea or in the middle of the ocean.
I'm planning on bringing my two now this summer.
So how safe it is? Because some of my couples have children. So is it safe for children?
Yeah. You see, and it's brilliant for a family moon. That's what we call it. Like I'd have a lot of couples that they want to bring their kids with them. Like that if they're young and they can't leave them for too long or they don't want to.
Fair enough.
A cruise is ideal. And I did specifically check that when I was on Wonder of the Seas because I have a 2-year-old and he is
I'd be checking.
nuts. He would climb out of anything, So this is my thing. Okay, I have to I was saying to my husband, I need to go for research purposes. We need to bring him and see how safe it is. Let him off, see how he gets on. But no, I mean, first of all, the door to the balcony is so hard to open, as in it's sturdy. You'd need to be strong enough to open it.
Sure.
But there is locks, and then there's a child safety lock up at the top that they're never going to be able to reach.
Brilliant.
So it's so safe and secure, and the balconies are secure as well. And in some of them, you have boardwalk that you're looking at over a balcony.
Yes.
So the inside of the ship, it's kind of like the inside of the ship is cut out, like you've Central Park. So if you like New York, you don't want to fly all the way to New York, you can wander through Central Park on the ship.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was beautiful. It was fabulous sitting out there having your coffee in Central Park.
God.
You don't know you're in the middle of the ocean.
I'd be on the wine now.
The cocktails. Sure, it's all included. Throw them all at me.
And how long are you going to go for?
We're going to go for a week.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And where?
Just to test it out.
Where does that, you have to test it out for your clients. Where does that bring you?
Oh, the one that we're looking at doing would be Rome. It leaves from Rome. And that's where we got married. So it'd be lovely to go back
that's
there.
That's very romantic.
But it goes down to Santorini and Mykonos, and it goes to Turkey as well and Naples.
And how long can you get off the ship for?
just the day. It usually docks in a place for the day.
Right.
So they would have excursions that you can book. So you can go as part of a tour. Like if we'll say it stops in Naples and you want to go to Pompeii.
Okay.
You get off the ship and you get onto a bus and you're brought to Pompeii and do all that and then come back. Or you can just wander around yourself.
Okay.
Like I was on one before and we stopped in Croatia in Dubrovnik and we just got off the ship and had a little wander around and then came back onto the ship for lunch because all the food was included.
Oh my God,
and back then they had a different currency in Croatia. Now they've joined the euro since January this year, so it'll be different. But it depends on where the ship is docking. You can go back to the ship, and a lot of the time when the ship is docked for the day, they have half price treatments in the spa,
right,
to try and keep people on board and kind of,
fair enough.
You can stay on board, you can get off and wander around, whatever you want to do. You don't have to do.
Susan, what's the difference between a couple going in and booking their honeymoon with a travel agent and going to you?
I suppose the main difference really is that I work outside of normal hours. So it's by appointment only. So if you can only speak to me on Saturday night at 8 o'clock, that's grand. We'll book in an appointment for then. Because a lot of the times people are just so busy working and trying to organise a wedding, and weekends could be taken up, food tastings and different things.
Absolutely.
So it could be a Monday night at 9 o'clock and we'll have a chat. Like that suits me, it suits them, it's perfect. And then I go away and work on a few options, send it through to them. They have a look through and then they come back to me. And I always say, like, it's your honeymoon. Like you're the ones going. So I might think this place looks fabulous and I'd love to stay there. But you might think, oh my God, the state of those curtains. It could come down to something as simple as that. And I'm like, don't be afraid to tell me you don't like the look of that because there are loads of other hotels to choose from. It's about getting it right.
Yes.
Sometimes I get it right the first go.
Yeah.
But sometimes it might take 2 or 3 goes because I don't know what you're into until we've had the chat and see. Yeah.
And I suppose it's a very personal service with you, and they have you to ring when they want to, speak about stuff. And if they're going through a travel agent, they might get somebody, but then they, it might sort of go through a few different people.
That's it. Yeah. It's the personalised service.
It's absolutely
and tailor-made and you've my full attention, because I remember from working in travel agencies back in the day, like I'm sitting here talking to you, but there could be 3 people waiting behind you and you're just like, okay, here, next.
Yeah, next.
Whereas now it's like, okay, you've my undivided attention now for the next half an hour. We're going to talk about you and your honeymoon and what you want.
Okay.
So you know that I'm not rushing you, this is your time and you tell me what you want and we'll have a chat and see what we can do for you.
Absolutely. So Susan, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, if they want advice off you, if they want to book their honeymoon with you, how do they get in touch with you?
The best thing is to send me an email because there's so many different ways of getting in touch and I'm always afraid, I might lose.
Yes.
Like if anyone gets in touch with me on Instagram, I'm at Susan Ryan TC.
Susan Ryan TC.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I always answer my DMs. So if you want to send me a DM there, I'll ask you for your email address.
Yes.
So then I'll add you to my mailing list.
Okay.
So you're notified then every month when I'm releasing consultations and you can book in for one.
Amazing.
And then every so often I'd send out newsletters with different things that are going on, but you can always unsubscribe, hit the unsubscribe if you don't want to be receiving all this lovely travel inspiration.
So they can contact you through your fabulous Instagram page. And what is your email address?
It's susan.ryan@travelcounsellors.com. So that's spelled travel COUNSELLORS.
Fantastic. Well, Susan, thank you so much for coming in and speaking to me today. I've learned so much about honeymoons and stuff that I didn't even know. Thank you so much.
Thanks a million.
Susan.
Thank you.